Good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning, Montgomery class of 2022. What makes this class unique is both their experiences and your resilience. Due to societal issues and, of course, a global pandemic, this class has faced a lot. This is the first Montgomery class to go through all 3 years of middle school using key cards to access the buildings. And this is an understandable security issue. It was a loss for them of the freedom of the beautiful campus. Because of the pandemic, this class lost all 3 of the hallmark middle school trips: Washington, D.C., Florida, and Canada. And yet, every year also brings about changes. This class lost some special teachers who truly worked with their colleagues to enhance the overall learning experience. But you faced all of these challenges and obstacles with, to borrow one of my daughter's 5 words from her chapel, tenacity. They met every challenge head on. During COVID, the class met together on Zoom during their lunch periods to maintain community. They participated in online music offerings, live musicals, concerts, sporting events, and more. This class has been an integral part of Montgomery over these years. They have worked together to continue the values of veritas, pietas, and caritas, truth, loyalty, and compassion. And here we are at graduations. Congratulations, Montgomery class of 2022.
Please join me in a moment of prayer. Let us pray. O source of all wisdom and all knowledge, for the gift of education, for the gift of learning, we express our deep gratitude. On this special day, we are mindful of your presence with us in continuing to grant us your blessings and your peace. May this occasion be one in which we remember with humble hearts and gratitude all that we have received from those who have taught us, from our parents, from our families, from our teachers, from our educators, from all those who have influenced us and led us on this journey. We ask that this time may be one of reflection, that this time may be one of thanks, and we ask your special blessing upon these graduates, that you may continue to prosper all of their endeavors and their future. In humbleness, we pray with great gratitude. Amen.
Thank you for that introduction and blessing. It's special to have a blessing from ministers who are also parents in this year's class. Thank you very much. Good morning. On behalf of the Montgomery School Board of Trustees and our faculty and staff, I welcome you to graduation for the class of 2022. In this audience, we have many parents, grandparents, friends, and honored guests. We have a very special presentation for you today. And it fills my heart to see so many of you who are near and dear to the school, connected to our graduates, and our history in some very important ways that will make this day solemn and mark it properly. This epitomizes this school year's theme of connection. And don't think for a moment, it does not matter that each and every one of you are here. This specific gathering, this duty of witness and celebration for your students will only happen once, and only with all of you. We always know we're connected to a much larger community here at school. We know that that community includes kitchen tables and carpools, intergenerational support, neighborhoods, friends, much, much more. Students, could you join me in applauding your family, friends, and all of these connections in appreciation of their investment in you? In my official role as head of school, I'm joined here by the chair of the Board of Trustees, Mrs. Stacy Williams-Seeley, as well as several other board members who are here to mark the conferring of diplomas, one of their solemn duties. We also acknowledge with immense gratitude the work of our faculty, who brought these students and all in our care this year through a special and unique year. Could we all please take a moment to acknowledge the hard work, sacrifice, and deep loving commitment of everyone who works with our children. We and they owe them so much. I do want to beg a personal privilege of a moment to salute two school personnel who are presiding, maybe with equal sadness and relief, over their final Montgomery graduation. Middle school head Paulson Rodriguez has given selflessly to the care of students at Montgomery for 5 years. As he pursues new paths, let's take a moment to honor and thank him. And Janice Esker is completing her 18th year supporting our school. It's going to be an emotional day. No detail of an event like this escapes her careful eye and caring attention. She makes it happen and prefers to stay behind the scenes, but we're in debt, and so we need to mark that. Your mark on our school is indelible. Janice. Okay, thank you for indulging me in that. I want to close my remarks with a brief personal message to my friends in the class of 2022. First of all, thank you for your work in all ways, but particularly for me, seeing your legacy project is going to be a reminder of you each and every day. It's really beautiful. So families and guests, our 8th grade had an advisory focus on legacy as a class. And throughout the year, they gathered to talk about how, as a group and individuals, they can leave a mark in any community that they're in. The resulting project was to paint and decorate a fenced area that's next to the dining room. You probably never noticed it before. It was kind of forgotten part of the campus. So they decorated it, they personalized it with handprints on the inside, which you might see if you work here. But on the outside, they also stenciled a heron. And so there's this beautiful piece of art that now, as we walk by, we'll always remember the class of 2022. It reflects your spirit and your lasting influence. So thank you for that. A graduation is a rare space in your life where you're in between. You sit on the stage, your work and experiences to get ready to come here, they're already done. However, until you get your diploma, the next chapter can't start. As uncomfortable and on the spot as I know you feel, trust that you're where you're supposed to be, and sadly for some of us, you can't stay here frozen in time. You may remember last year that Lonnie's dad, Mr. Doherty, shared a story of Tir na Nog. Who remembers that? Remember? Gathered here around the Creek classroom. For Ellery and Emerson, who joined us this year, for others in the audience, here are the broad outlines. So Tir na Nog is what we've named our Creek classroom. If you haven't seen it, you can go check it out down on the creek. So the broad outline of this story is this. A young man and a young woman fall in love. The young man travels with the young woman on her magical horse, because who doesn't have one of those, to an enchanted place, which is her father's kingdom of Tir na Nog. It's the land of eternal youth. They live happily there, but after 300 years, the young man yearns to see home, and he climbs on the horse and he goes back, knowing that if he gets off the horse when he goes back, he loses all the time that he spent. When he arrives, everything he remembers, however, has changed, and those he loved are gone. Sadly, he falls from the horse, instantly ages and can never return to Tirnanog again. It's a story with different meanings to different people who hear it. It's about a mythical world where one can stay young forever. But the curse is that you can never leave that world. Myths tell stories that we know communicate essential truths. Sometimes in life, we may want to stop time and stay right where we are. We may want to freeze and preserve a moment, or those around you may wish that they could. We won't trap you in the Creek classroom, although it might be a good place for a photo later if the weather holds out. We're excited for your journey. Although we'll bring you farther and farther from childhood, you're ready to embrace what comes next, and we will be okay with it too in time. With that journey in mind, we are also giving you a gift today, which you'll recover after graduation. I've selected, and your teachers have each signed, a copy of a book called Journey. It's a picture book that depicts a fanciful trip that springs from the imagination, like many of the trips that you have shared with us in your time here. It's a gift to you, both the spirit of the story and the wishes of your teachers as you embark on your own journey. Okay, that's about all you need to hear from me right now. This is a moment from you, and you should hear from one of your own. Today's student address will be given by Ayan Rege. Shuffling here, Ayan, 1 second. Stand on your mark, if you will. Just standing there at the top of the stairs. Just stand there at the top of the stairs for a second. Make yourself comfortable. Ayan came to Montgomery School for the first time as a 5th grader, joining Mrs. Kelly's class for the final year of elementary school. His sister Anya joined us in 3rd grade at the same time. Ayan fondly remembers his time playing an after-school sport in 6th grade. He took to it quickly and has been a member of the soccer, basketball, and baseball teams. What he loved most, however, was mixing with different grade levels and sharing a common goal. As he continued to also thrive in academics, he became known as a serious learner who also knew how to have fun. Ayan's peers elected him as student government president and respect both his judgment and his ability to include others. In his application of leadership for our inaugural Innovation Inspiration Week, this year he wrote, "Although I do demonstrate traditional leadership by being a leader, I also like to follow and listen to what other people have to say. This is a powerful lesson that I always try to remember myself, Ayan. We can always listen more in leadership." Just on Thursday, Ayan received the Head of School Award. This was independent of selection for the speakers, happened in a different process. And I wanted to share with you the apt description of the award. The Head of School Award is presented to that member of the 8th grade class who made the most of his or her educational opportunity and strived hard for self-improvement, has made good use of what the school has to offer, and has made a worthwhile contribution to the life of the school. As I came to Montgomery last year, and as you've heard, there were many disruptions and challenges. There were many students who inspired me with their ability to help me connect to traditions of the past, while also showing me the positive spirit about the challenging times that we were in. Ayan was one such leader among so many in this special class. He serves with a smile and by example. Next year, he will bring these dispositions to the Hill School, where I have no doubt he will continue to listen, share, and support his community. Please welcome Ayan Rege to share his address.
Hello, parents, faculty, guests, and 8th grade. My name is Ayan Rege. I'm an 8th grade student and our student body president here at Montgomery, and it is my honor to deliver a speech for this incredible 8th grade class. Before I officially start my speech, I would like to begin with a proverb that I think beautifully abridges the idea of connection. It is called the invisible string proverb, and it suggests that every time you meet someone, you become connected to them by an invisible string. If you spend a large amount of time and really connect with that person, the string will become stronger. On the other hand, if you are to leave that person for a long period of time, that string may start to fade and tatter. Nonetheless, through all of this growing and shrinking the string goes through, the string will never break. No matter how much it is stretched or how weak it is, the string will remain intact. Now, I'm sure some of you are asking yourself, Ion, what do these invisible strings have to do with the complex connections and relationships of our everyday lives? Well, boy, am I glad you asked. However, before I get to this, I would like to start with a couple of other things. Throughout my time at Montgomery, my experiences with connection are countless. However, I would like to share the one that I think is most significant. The story takes place back in 5th grade, on my first day at Montgomery. I was lost. I got off the bus and was instantly perplexed by the colossal campus. With each turn, I feared I was going in the wrong direction, and with every couple of steps, I questioned whether I would really belong in this new, intimidating school. Finally, I was able to locate my classroom, but the nervousness did not fade. Stepping timidly into the classroom, I was afraid that I would be met with piercing glares and a cross teacher. Never had I been so wrong. As I stepped into the classroom, I was met with smiles all around. The teacher welcomed me like I had been attending the school since 1st grade, and the students took me in as one of their own classmates. It was here that I felt something that I had never felt before. A strange sensation that I now recognize as one of connection. Even though I'd come from a very large elementary school with around 150 kids per grade and many, many teachers, it was here, this day, that some of the first strong, invisible strings were generated around me, and was an experience that I'll remember for many years to come. This leads me on to my first piece of guidance for the 8th grade class, making connections. In a place like Montgomery, connections come with ease. We have friendly teachers that want to connect with students, and students who want to connect with more students. However, as you move into the next chapter of your life, think about how you can manufacture the strings of connection and create new connections as you move forward. One story that I recall to this day relating to making connections took place back in 6th grade. I was en route to school, and it was around 7:30 in the morning. I was feeling miserable. A combination of having to wake up very, very early, having to eat regular Cheerios instead of Honey Nut Cheerios, and having to undergo the usual 1-hour bus ride in the morning. After sitting for a couple of minutes in silence, a young kid walked up to me and greeted me. Understanding that he wanted to talk, I asked him a few questions, and I eventually found out that his name was Reggie, and that he was in 1st grade. We talked the rest of the bus ride, and eventually began to talk a little bit every day. Fast forward to right now, Reggie is currently my 3rd grade buddy, and we are great friends. However, what remains shocking to me to this day is that a little 1st grader was ready to make a connection with a complete stranger. And if he can make such a long-lasting and substantial connection with a complete stranger, I think all of you can as well. Another story similar to this, regarding the making connections, took place in 3rd grade. I was walking down the hallway to my class when a fellow 3rd grader came up behind me and said, "I like your backpack." After hearing this, my introverted 3rd grade brain began to panic. Instantly, 3 options popped in my head. I could A, say thanks, B, compliment him back, or C, start a conversation. Out of all of these possible ways to connect with a person, I went with option D, which was to stare at him for a couple seconds and awkwardly shuffle to class. Unfortunately, no invisible strings were created that day. As you move on in life, also try to maintain your relationships and connections with people. Although the strings of connection will never break or tear, they can fade and tatter. Likewise, even though you may never permanently lose a connection with someone, your connection could weaken, and your relationship with the person could become very faint. One instance of this from my life was in 5th grade. After moving to Montgomery, it was hard for me to maintain connections and friendships with the friends from my old school. At first, I didn't think much of my old friends, but then I remembered the connections and memories I had made with them, and made sure to call them several times over the summer and visit them every so often. Having said that, it is just as important to focus on yourself as well. And this leads me to my last piece of guidance: connecting with yourself. As you enter a world of possibilities and opportunities, many of you will discover new passions, hobbies, extracurriculars, and sports, and will ultimately become different people. However, in this big, vast world, you should always stay true to yourself. Oftentimes, as humans, it becomes very easy for us to try to please others and do what we think others will want, instead of doing what we want. By staying true to yourself, you strengthen the most important string of all, your internal string. Before I conclude my speech, the one main thing that I would like you all to remember over your summer is the proverb. As you move on to high school, think about the string and how it can shrink and grow. Make sure to facilitate connections with other people and create new strings. Strengthen your existing strings and keep them relevant so that the strings don't fade and tatter. However, most importantly, always make sure to connect with yourself and keep your internal string the strongest. As you all move on to high school and beyond, make sure to focus on and discover yourself so that you can thrive and succeed in a world with endless possibilities. Thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you, Ion. Wonderful. So many connections. And today we're going to make some connections clear with a little bit of an honor that is traditional at graduation. And that is an award given by the trustees to community members. And we do that here. It's called the Hovey Gresh Award. The Hovey Gresh Award is intended to recognize a member of the Montgomery School community who has demonstrated exemplary dedication to the school through commitment of time, talent, and treasure. And today, I have the honor of presenting not one, but 3 Hovey Gresh Awards, because stuff's been going on over the last couple of years. We had a virtual graduation 2 years ago. We had a limited attendance last year. And so the board did not select and invite recipients for 2020 or 2021. There are so many people that make Montgomery special. And the board felt it was right to use every one of those opportunities to recognize real difference makers in our school. So I will ask the recipient to join me when I finish your introduction. Please remain here, and Mrs. Seeley will be your guide until we've read all 3 recipients, and then we'll have one final round of applause for all 3 of you. Our winner for 2020 is alumni parent, Mr. Jose Orozco. Jose, husband Jeff, and daughter JC Denton Orozco joined our community in 2010. When JC came in preschool, the school gained not only a student, but an incredibly involved family. Throughout his time as a Monty parent, Jose was a tireless advocate for the school. He served on and led many fundraising and friend-raising committees. Always jumping in to help on projects, he was described by community members as a gem. He chaired our annual benefit and donated the most popular item, a personally crafted Mexican dinner for 10. Yeah, there's some happy customers here. Jose could always be found in the center of successful events, giving generously of his time and talent without seeking recognition. Well, we got you today, Jose. Our community thanks you for your example and service over all those years, and we're proud to name you the 2020 Hovey Gresh Award winner. winner from 2021 is a former faculty member, Mr. Randall Byerly. Randy first joined our school in 1989 and began an amazing run of service and teaching spanning 31 years. He coached just about everything and left a legacy few will likely challenge. 10+ undefeated seasons coaching, over 1,000 student athletes, mentoring over 100 other coaches with a cool demeanor the whole time. Randy was director of our day camp, as well as a camp counselor, director of physical education and athletics, and the fearless leader of our annual Greek and Roman games. Long days, logistical gymnastics, bus trips, and many great memories are part of Randy's gifts to us. In supporting words, one board member wrote, "As a point of reference, Randy was a teacher when I was a student at Montgomery. He's shown a near lifetime dedication to the school and our athletic program. He's a personification of dedication to Montgomery through time, talent, and treasure." Randy Byerly. For the 2022 winner, the board has also selected a former faculty member. I, too, honor the board's 2022 selection, Mrs. Wendy Sheldrick, whom I, feel free. I had the pleasure of working with Wendy in my first year at Montgomery. Wendy joined the faculty in 2002, beginning a 19-year run as an innovator, and leading force in developing Montgomery's science program. In her tenure, and with her steady leadership, Montgomery opened the Cedar Science Center, Novus Center, and revamped the curriculum fully toward hands-on programs and deep learning. She's led immersive trips to Florida, reflective of her beliefs in joy and learning coming from experience. As the head of science at Montgomery, she engaged her students and her colleagues and inspired their growth. Through it all, she also supported teachers through her positive example and wise counsel, keeping kids at the focus and creating lifelong friends of her colleagues. Always a leader and the leading learner, we honor Wendy Sheldrick as the 2022 winner. Told you it'd be a special emotional day. All right. Each year, we welcome back a graduate to speak to our current graduates and share words of wisdom. Last year, we began a new tradition, with Wendy Sheldrick, in fact, of asking a faculty member who taught the student to make our introduction. Mrs. Pam Clay has taught at Montgomery since 2007 and will make today's introduction. Pam is a highly respected faculty leader, has taught 2nd and 4th grade. She's one of the brains behind our faculty mentorship program, and next year will take on an additional role as grade level coordinator for grades K-2. Mrs. Clay, thanks for doing all you do. The microphone is yours.
Good morning. When I was asked to give a brief introduction for our graduate speaker today, Ms. Kara Guernsey, I immediately felt my heart burst with excitement knowing I was going to have the chance to see one of my OG Montgomery kids. Back in 2007, Kara Guernsey welcomed me, known then as Miss Schmier, to Montgomery School when I was her 2nd grade teacher back in that room right there. It became my greatest gift to teach her daily, and I'm so thrilled for you all to meet her today. As I look at Kara now, I still see that same smile I loved back when she was 7. That smile was the first thing I saw every morning, and this is how she greeted everyone all year long. There wasn't a day when Kara didn't exude pure joy. She was an ambassador for our classroom and the entire Montgomery community. If a student needed a friend, Kara was there. If a teacher needed a helper, Kara was also there. Kara's love for life and school stemmed from her nurturing and loving parents, who also welcomed me into the Montgomery community with open arms. For those that don't know, Kara's the baby in her family. But you would never have guessed that in our classroom. She could have run the room, with me there or not. That was a good thing. When I think about our days together, a few things come to my mind immediately. The first is fun time. This is how we practiced telling time daily in 2nd grade. Kara's arm would shoot up, often being the first, flashing her fingers high for the entire class to see. Another thing I think of is her family, including her pets. Kara and I would talk about her dogs. She would bring in pictures for me to see, and she'd often speak of her older siblings. As she grew up, I loved hearing about her becoming an aunt. I can't begin to imagine how much fun Aunt Kara is. The last thing that comes to my mind is Kara making indoor recess the best. She already knows what I'm gonna say. I can see her now in the back of the gym on the white line, leading her friends in a line dance to the song Cotton Eye Joe, while waiting to play Mission Impossible. Do you girls know what I'm talking about? Her friends are here, so it was amazing. I've never enjoyed indoor recess as much as I did then, and most teachers don't enjoy indoor recess. By far, that will go down as my favorite memory of her. In a few minutes, you'll get a glimpse of who Kara is. She's a poised, intelligent, and joyful young woman. I'm so proud of all her achievements thus far, and I know you'll continue to succeed in all she puts her mind to. What makes it even better is knowing she's still that same sweet, smiling, kind-hearted person she was back then. Please join me in welcoming Kara Guernsey.
Thank you, Mrs. Clay, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you, Mr. McManus, for inviting me to speak here today. And another thank you is in order for all of the faculty here that made me into the person I am today. You have all greatly impacted my life. Lastly, I want to thank my salty 7+1, a name only middle school us could understand. You have remained my rocks in life, and I will forever be grateful for our memories and your continuing presence. Now, 8th graders, congratulations on reaching this exciting milestone in your life. Today marks the ending of one chapter, but also the beginning of so many more. What I've come to learn, though, is that graduation does not mark the end of your Montgomery story. I'm a Montgomery graduate of 2014 and a lifer at this school. I've never known another school or another group of friends before leaving Montgomery. I spent all of my evenings with Mrs. Walton in afternoons, and every teacher at Montgomery knew me, even if they hadn't had me in a class. Montgomery was my home and my family. So graduation was a little scary for me, in addition to being happy and exciting. I was nervous about what was next, but most of all, I was nervous about leaving Montgomery behind. What I didn't realize at the time is that Montgomery never leaves you. Throughout high school at Baldwin and college at RIT, I've never felt more connected to a school or a group of people than at Montgomery. Montgomery becomes a major part of who you are, shaping your mind, your body, and your character. It becomes integral to your identity as a truthful and compassionate human being. And the friends you make at Montgomery, well, they will be friends of a lifetime. So it's no wonder why the loyalty I feel to Montgomery is unmistakable and unmatched. What you may not realize until later, though, is that Montgomery doesn't just teach you academic lessons. Montgomery also teaches you life lessons. At Montgomery, I learned how to be curious. From creek walks in Mrs. Dadalow's lower school science class, to debates in Mrs. Shellhorn's 7th grade social studies class, I learned to ask questions and seek answers. I dared to ask how and why. These early experiences have proved to be the foundation for my journey to becoming an inquisitive intellectual. In high school, it wasn't enough to be told how I should complete a problem. I wanted to understand why I should complete it that way. What is the meaning behind it? This curiosity for how things work naturally led me to pursue engineering in college, specifically biomedical engineering. It is also why I decided to attend graduate school, obtaining a dual master's degree with my undergrad and planning to pursue a PhD after graduation. Now, engineering, and in particular biomedical engineering, is a tough discipline. It requires hard work. But another lesson I learned at Montgomery is that when you've got a passion about something, you've got to keep going until you reach the top. If it's something that drives you, nothing can stop you when you're following your passion. Now, that doesn't mean it'll be easy. It definitely takes perseverance and determination, but you have learned both of these traits here at Montgomery as well. From Mrs. Canals' kindergarten class to middle school with Mrs. Malzette, I was always encouraged to try new things and learn from my mistakes. With my teacher's support, I was able to keep looking for my passions. I tried different musical instruments, multiple sports, creative writing, and ultimately landed on a combination of science, math, and art, which led me to engineering. When I was faced with challenges, such as speaking in front of a large audience for my 8th grade chapel, I was encouraged to meet them head on and persevere. I learned to put fear aside and just keep going. It may be uncomfortable, but it's worth it in the end. Learning to persevere through life's challenges is the key to following your passions and unlocking success. Lucky for you, you've learned to do this already here at Montgomery. Now at this point, some of you may be thinking, wait a minute, what is biomedical engineering? And why did I pursue it? That's a great question that I didn't have the answer to when I was at Montgomery or even in high school. I had no clue the field even existed. Yet by following my passions, I have found the career that I love. The way I would describe biomedical engineering is that it's an engineering applied to the human body. It's a very broad definition because there's so many things that you can do with this degree. We can create surgical tools to help doctors, design new prosthetic limbs, or even develop new drugs to solve cancer. So now that I've convinced you that biomedical engineering is awesome, to answer the second part of the question, why did I choose the field in the first place? Well, Montgomery showed me that there is nothing more rewarding than making a difference in other people's lives. More than anything, I wanted my job to serve the greater good, a life goal that I attribute to how Montgomery shaped my character. This is probably the singular aspect of Montgomery I am, most grateful for, as it makes the school unique. At Montgomery, I learned how to be a good person, how to be kind, thoughtful, and compassionate. In Mrs. Clay's class, I learned what friendship looks like, while Mrs. Blair's soccer team taught me how to be a teammate and to play for the greater good of the team. My Design for a Difference project, or what we called Make a Difference at the time, taught me to think about others before myself and appreciate the community around me. Ultimately, all of these lessons have led me to where I am today. My passion for making a difference in people's lives and curiosity led me to become a biomedical engineer, and my insatiable need for learning has led me to graduate school, and I could not have accomplished any of this without Montgomery. So 8th graders, what does this really mean for you? Well, as Montgomery graduates, I charge you to follow your passion with pride and humility, which means taking personal responsibility in daily efforts. You must work hard to accomplish anything and everything you set your mind to. while staying true to who you are and who Montgomery taught you to be. Seek out new opportunities for learning and growth, which means staying open to all of the possibilities life holds, even if you had other plans. And most importantly, remember the people you are sitting here with today. Thank the teachers who have shaped you, even if you do not understand the extent to which they have yet. And stay connected with your classmates. Words cannot describe the love I have for my Montgomery friends. I would say we are closer now than we ever were at Montgomery. Through thick and thin, my Montgomery friends have stayed by my side. Our relationships have endured different high schools and miles of distance between our colleges. Yet here we are with Sammy, Erica, Gigi, and Mackenzie, sitting here today, all class of 2014. They are cheering you on as you embark on life's great adventures together, the class of 2022. So stay in touch, come back and visit, because we cannot wait to see all that you do. Congratulations, Montgomery School Class of 2022.
Thank you, Kara. Those strings are connecting. All right. What are we here for again? Oh, yeah. It's time to recognize each member of the class and award their diplomas. Now, we will call their names and ask them to come stand up here. I have a few things to share about each student. I've talked to classmates, and they've shared surveys and different things. I think I understand most of what they shared. Well, they understand it for sure. Then I have some thoughts from the faculty, as well as some things that they've said they'd like to be remembered by, or that they wanted to share. So after I speak about them, I'll say their name again. They'll come down the stairs, and our Board of Trustees will present them with their diploma. Got it? Got it? You guys ready? Remember, this is fun, too. All right.
Mrs. Seeley, Mr. McManus, on behalf of the faculty, I am pleased to present to you the following students who have completed all the requirements for graduation. Lauren Melissa Ayers.
Lauren came to Montgomery in 5th grade. Some of the things her classmates said: she's an amazing dancer. She's a nice friend, especially on the bus. She's giving. She's got the best neighborhood for trick-or-treating. She's kind, fun, funny. She's a baker. She's confident. She's enduring. She's calm. And bundt cakes, lots of them. The faculty echo her peers, describing a student any classroom would benefit from. Lauren has excellent communication skills, is patient and helpful at all times, and is reflective about the work at hand and her own growth. One of the ways Lauren aims to make a difference in the world is advocating for legislation to limit access to guns and reduce violence. Lauren feels that every one of her teachers inspired her and pushed her to be the best that she could be. Mrs. Kelly also really inspired her to have fun and stay positive when it comes to school, even if the Flyers or Eagles lose. Her advice to 7th graders is, don't forget to have fun. 8th grade can be stressful with applications and a larger workload. If you feel like you're sinking, try to clear your head. Do something that is fun and makes you happy. Lauren Melissa Ayers.
Addison Ashley Becky.
Addison came to Montgomery in 3rd grade. Friends said, "My favorite memory is bus ride 2 trips with you." She's thoughtful. She's crazy good at rock climbing. She occasionally speaks with a British accent. She's caring, funny, passionate, intelligent, determined, has chocolate ice creamism. She's very kind and is always happy and smiling. Addison's teachers agree, noting her dedication to academics. She brings a sense of play to the classroom in the service of learning and keeps her peers also focused on the task at hand. One thing Addison is doing to make a difference in the world is promoting the use of harvestable, renewable plants for household use. They reduce waste and clean the air in the surrounding environment. A favorite memory of Addison's is Greek and Roman games, because this is something the whole school can do together. Addison's advice to 7th graders is, do your homework and do extra credit when the teacher offers it, especially Mrs. Shelmorn. Addison Ashley Becky.
Lonnie Yeoman Darty.
Lonnie's diploma will be presented by her father, board member Niall Doherty. Surprise! Lonnie is one of 3 lifers in our 8th grade, a student who started here in kindergarten, pretty close to when her nephew Danny started here. Her peers say she's fun. She's really funny. She's kind, enthusiastic, caring. She has cool, beautiful hair. She's energetic. She's artistic. She loves dogs. Scout and O'Malley were both mentioned numerous times, as was Danny, so all the cute accessories. Most of all, she's compassionate. As a student, Lonnie's teachers applaud her positive influence on others. She seeks direction and helps others find their way in their academics as well. One thing that Lonnie is doing to make a difference in the world is work to get more dogs trained as therapy animals. One of Lonnie's favorite academic experiences was Design for a Difference. She liked that it went all year long and was personally driven. Lonnie would like to be remembered for caramel balayage. Ask her later. Lonnie Yeoman Doherty.
Ahilya Dugar.
Like Lonnie, Ahilya is one of 3 students who began in kindergarten. Her friends say, the best rummy player I know. Athletic, artistic, quietly too smart, kind, caring, a lacrosse prodigy, intelligent, is always there to help me. In her schoolwork, Ahilya's teachers see the mark of her total effort. She is a role model for her peers in class, a positive influence and powerful communicator in writing and in words. One of the ways Ahilya is seeking to make a difference in the world is to raise awareness and educate around issues of water scarcity, a global problem. Ahilya will always remember bus drives to away games because of the time the team got to spend together. She feels that Montgomery changed her by helping her become more independent. She says, I changed how I thought about the world and became more well-spoken. Ahilya Dugar.
Casey Amelia Everson.
Casey came to us in middle school, starting in 6th grade. Her friends say she's outgoing, she's funny, nice, and caring. They write respectful and mannerful. Is that a word? Mannerful? Describes you. The nicest person in the grade. A good drawer and artist. Apparently that includes Among Us memes. So it was a popular response. Unique, musical. She has a can-do attitude in everything she does. Casey's teachers also celebrate her creative and authentic take on the world. Her contributions to class are always insightful, genuine, and heartfelt. One way that Casey is working to make a difference is by lobbying for equal pay and gender equity in the workplace. Casey was inspired by Mr. Ormsby to keep playing music, Coach Marlowe to commit to running, and Mr. Anzaldo to give math a chance. Her advice to 7th graders is, even though it's your last year, still follow the rules and be just as respectful as before. And if you get stressed, don't worry too much, as your current problems today probably won't matter in the grand scheme of things. Casey Amelia Everson.
Robert Ferraro.
Ben's diploma will be presented by his father, board member Anthony Ferraro. Surprise. Ben came to Monty in 3rd grade. There's a lot of interesting things in these lists. He's a duck overlord. Ice hockey. Long hair. Kind. Tall. Or as one person wrote, a height enthusiast. He's humorous, nice, loyal, and persevering. He always holds the door for anyone. This is a cool one just to finish with here. Triple A, artsy, A, athletic, A, awesome. In the classroom, Ben is known by his teachers for his courteous and polite demeanor, making him an ideal partner for groups. He's soft-spoken but assertive in his point of view, always positive. One way Ben is making a difference in the world is creating a proposal for food delivery services to help capture unused food for needy students in schools. Ben's most memorable non-academic experience was when the referee thought his hands were made out of metal and how it almost cost the team the game. I want to hear that story later. He wants to be remembered as a nice kid who loves to talk to younger kids. Benjamin Robert Ferraro.
Alejandro Honig Juarez.
Alejandro joined our school during 7th grade. Friends say, a genius. Very factual and scientific. Explains everything. Knows a lot of weird facts, like specific odd facts. An amazing singer, an overall musician. That's what they said. Stock market enthusiast, blessed with a dry humor. A space enthusiast. In a word, unique. Alejandro's teachers echo many of these same themes, calling him inquisitive and curious. His prior knowledge often drives new discoveries, and he's always happy to expand his understanding. One way that Alejandro would like to make a difference in the world is to build on existing technologies, to lower costs and increase the speed for delivering materials into orbit and beyond. I think that's going to happen. In his time at Monty, Alejandro feels that he's made more friends and become more extroverted. He'd like to be remembered as someone who always tried his best. Alejandro Honig Juarez.
Irene Sage Clapper.
Irene came to Montgomery in 6th grade. Friends wrote, "A lovely bird who flies high." She loves cats. Classmates actually went pretty heavy on the animals for you, Irene. Very funny, kind, helpful, a good friend, very nice. The best at lacrosse. A friend to all. I think I have to do a voice for this. An old buddy, an old pal. Is always making people laugh. And again, an energetic sayer of hi to people she encounters. Hi. Irene's teachers agree, noting that her own laugh is infectious. Her gregarious and kind ways make every classroom she enters more inclusive and welcoming. One way that Irene is making a difference in the world is developing special boxes to shelter feral cats in areas of high population. Irene will always remember going to Reading Terminal Market after the Franklin Institute. It was a lot of fun and the food was good. Her advice to 7th graders is study and be prepared for hard work. Irene Clapper.
Shreyas Kuritiwada.
Shreyas joined us last year in 7th grade. Shreyas, according to your friends, you love hearing your name being spoken by others. Shreyas, today is your lucky day, Shreyas. He's a tennis player, a pro Minecraft player. Sometimes he chases Grady in the Gresh building. Sometimes that's loud. They call him the boss. He can be goofy and a class clown, but he's also very energetic and enjoys math. He's a bird enthusiast, and we're finding out who wrote these things. He does great impersonations. He's unique, very intelligent, and a great communicator. Shreyas' teachers note his level of conscientiousness. He wants to get it right and will look at the work from every angle. He also brings levity to learning. Concerned for the environment, Shreyas is devising a kind of netting to help pull trash out of waterways before it can reach the ocean. Shreyas was inspired by Mrs. Shellhorn, who helped him learn to work hard and work correctly. I think that's the right emphasis. His favorite new thing during his time at Montgomery was being able to experience family-style lunch because it is very inclusive. Shreyas Kurithawada.
Simon Killian Lang.
Simon came to Montgomery in 3rd grade. His friends say he has a good sense of humor. So you may appreciate that someone wrote you were a nice friend and you have a nice mom. I agree, she's very nice. You're helpful, conscientious, a great soccer player, occasionally sarcastic, cool, milk enthusiast. Now that's just me because we were drinking milk at the time and you drank a lot of milk. Still, it's good for your bones. He's an anime buff. Smart, engaging, truly kind and caring. Simon's teachers echo many of the same themes, particularly his engagement. He brings positive risk-taking and an interest in learning to the classroom. One way that Simon is trying to make a difference in the world is by creating low-cost repair kits for soccer players who may not be able to afford frequent shoe replacements. His most memorable experience was in 5th grade when everyone got together and played soccer. It was so aggressive, and he often got kicked in the shins by Addie. His advice to 7th graders is simply enjoy 8th grade because it flies by. Simon Killian Lang.
Arthur James Miller.
Arthur came to Monty in 6th grade. He's funny, humorous, a Harry Potter superfan. You know, I gotta admit, I get that sometimes too. I think it's because we look like him. He's an avid Funko Pop collector, a fortune teller. I don't know, it's here. Also an anime enthusiast and a rock climber. He walks into nature and exploring. He's extremely nice, kind, he cares about others, and he has his own unique take on things and very creative. Arthur's teachers call him methodical and also adventurous. His worldly experiences and personal interests drive his ability to take risks with new ideas. One way Arthur is seeking to make a difference in the world is to champion the idea that every car safety pack should have window-breaking equipment in case of emergencies. One of his favorite academic memories was, in fact, the car crash test. It took a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun and difficult at the same time. His message to 7th graders would be, buckle up and work hard. There's a lot of fun to come. Arthur James Miller.
Emerson Elizabeth Nolte.
Emerson Nolte came to Montgomery this year as a new student. Her friends say that she also has beautiful hair, that she's shy but really kind, nice and smart, that she has an infectious laugh, that she's a humble, outstanding horse rider, that she's helpful, calm and cool, amiable, a truly kind heart. Her teachers laud her inquisitive approach to learning, understated diligence and enthusiasm for learning. She's considerate, consistent, and positive in the classroom. One way Emerson is making a difference in the world is designing new, more efficient recycling systems that help people make good choices. A memorable class experience was painting CDs with friends in art class. She'd like to be remembered as being humorous and friendly. Emerson Elizabeth Nolte.
Ellery Jensen Pape.
Ellery also came to Montgomery this year as an 8th grader. Off the top, Ellery is not shy. Happy musician, plays in a band, say the friends. Talented, nice, funny, amazingly goofy and humorous. Not a bee enthusiast, hater of wasps. Some dangerous times. Very avid sneaker enthusiast. A crisp note taker. Has a lawnmower laugh? There it is. Good at math, even better at lacrosse. Friendly, talkative, and open-minded. Teachers agree, noting Ellery's positive attitude and resiliency. She brings a creative approach to problem solving and genuinely has a broad appetite for different subjects. Ellery's making a difference in the world by building a prototype for a biodegradable fish hook that could reduce pollution and save long-term effects on uncaught fish. You should check this thing out. It's very cool. Ellery's proudest academic memory is math class and getting A's after a year of not-so-good grades. Her advice to 7th graders is, always take the risk. Ellery Pape.
Laura Maxine Portner.
Laura came to Montgomery in 6th grade, at the beginning of middle school. Apparently, some people here consider you a little sister, or the quote was a preppy, fun to be with, beautiful sister. It's really nice stuff. Funny, smart, speaks German, quietly present, a taekwondoist, a good friend, also a good friend on the bus, very nice, can make me feel better when I'm upset, sincere, and my favorite of all the comments, live, laugh, Laura. Laura's teachers note her precise and timely approach to all she does. She cares about her own success and that of others. Mindful of the environment, one way that Laura would like to make a difference in the world is to create vending machines for reusable water bottles with attached water fountains. Laura feels she's grown in her time at Monty by becoming more comfortable with her public speaking and becoming a more open person. She'd like to be remembered as a fun and exciting person. Laura Portner.
Ayan Sunil Reggae.
As you know, Ayan came to Montgomery in 5th grade. Friends say, smartest person in the world. Intelligent, nice, very good at piano, a bottle cap enthusiast. His voice tends to carry. He's clever and sometimes preposterous. Good vocabulary, guys. Responsible, responsible, responsible. Continuous and steady. Ayan's teachers note his ability to connect ideas across disciplines and lessons. He conveys seriousness of purpose in learning while also being one of the team and always respectful. Ayan designed a prototype Wi-Fi router extension which can help those in areas with poor reception increase their access, particularly important during times of being away from work or school. He remembers being inspired by Mrs. Kelly, by her fun and enthusiasm for learning. I would always look forward to her class, he says. He'd like to be remembered as someone who made a positive impact in academics and athletics alike. Ayan Sunil Reggae.
Ashley Lynn Rogers.
Ashley is our 3rd student who came here in her early days in kindergarten. Friends said, red hair. This was a popular response, had many variations. Athletic, talented at gymnastics. Happy, kind, a bee-house businesswoman. The best manners in Girl Scouts. Cheeto girl. Loves animals. Energetic, thoughtful, funny, nice, and helpful. Ashley's teachers applaud her engagement in each and every lesson. Humble, even when she is in the role as a leader, her approachability makes her a favorite and a good partner. Ashley has built her own prototype for a bee house, which she'd like to see on more properties and communities as they adopt this approach to keeping our pollinators safe. She was inspired at Montgomery by her very first teacher, Mrs. Janney. The best changes she's seen during her time here, sorry, this is a really nice thing, is the way strangers become friends in less than a year. That's a first for me, Ashley, sorry about that. Ashley Lynn Rogers.
Anna Inez Cernik.
Anna came to Monty in 6th grade. Friends say, cool, a dancer, a fast runner, very positive, a black-haired smurf. Dory, I don't know, is that Finding Dory? I'm not sure. Can never make choices. Difficulty making choices. But the next one is thorough, and I'm wondering if that might be playing into that. Aggressive in sports, happy and energetic. An amazing friend. She tells me what I need to do. Anna's teachers love the way she's a natural leader with her peers and begins every day with a smiling hello. She's always reflective, diligent, and energetic in her work. One way Anna is making a difference in the world is by creating an idea for a low-cost, machine-operated clothing exchange. She feels that she's grown her time at Montgomery because the freedom the school has given her has helped her to become more independent. Her advice to 7th graders is, don't worry too much about a bad grade. There will always be another assignment. Anna Inez Cernik.
Kieran Marie Wisniewski.
Kieran came to Montgomery in 4th grade. Friends say, amazing voice. A caring and enthusiastic theater practitioner. Sorry, practitioner was my word. Theater enthusiast. Smart and talented. A great friend. A hard worker. Has a small dog. Is that Sir McWigglesworth, or is that something different? Okay, all right. Not a fan of peach Snapple. Don't offer her one. Committed to what she cares about. Really nice, outgoing, in a word, giving. Kieran's teachers talk about her huge smile and equal motivation. In her studies, she is diligent, organized, and always ready. An idea Kieran has developed is a prototype for buddy boxes, appropriate support items in a box for people suffering from concussions or traumatic brain injury. She loved doing Model UN in 7th grade social studies because it was interesting to see real-world events from the inside. Kieran wants to be remembered as a kind and musical leader. Kieran Marie Wisniewski.
Grady Joseph Ziegler.
I told Grady he had the longest wait. It was worth it. Grady came to Montgomery in 6th grade. I guess sometimes you run in Bresh also, maybe chased by Shreyas. Did I get that right? Friend said football, amazing singer. Another one, just put together an a cappella group. Humorous, talks in weird voices. There's a little list, I'm not sure what all this means. Mario, Wonder Woman. All right. Nice and caring, likable, trustworthy, a good big brother. Grady's teachers say that his personal qualities that he brings to interactions open new opportunities for learning. He's active in class and will ask the question that others may be unsure to ask. Grady would like to help combat wildfires in arid areas by developing flame-retardant undergrowth. He will always remember Adventure Day when he was brand new to the school. It was a great bonding experience and he made friends quickly. He writes, "I've learned to develop friendships that will help me through the rest of my life." Grady Ziegler. Family, friends, guests, it has been a special ceremony. And when we dismiss, our graduates will go first this time, and they will line up outside. Then we will ask the faculty to process so that they can wish them well. That may take a little bit of time, so be patient. It's important to us. And then you can join them, and we'll be having a reception in the dining room. Mrs. Seeley, Mr. Rodriguez, and I would like to present to you and the board the now graduated class of 2022.